Hi, welcome back into Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears, our first episode of 2023. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Catherine Ritchie, Jennifer McCormick, sharing things out. Christy is here too, and we are excited to be here, kind of giving a preview of the year, maybe a little recap of a few things as well, chatting all things Disney and Universal. Before we launch into that, we appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button right there that shows that you are watching us, whether that's live or watching on a replay, sharing us out to anyone, and of course, liking our page overall so you get updated anytime we go live or we upload a new video, which is very awesome. So thanks for being with us. If you were here right at 9 waiting, we were actually getting off an agency call, so some exciting news to share from that as well. So we're all getting settled, and I'll speak for myself. I feel, how is it already January?
Seriously, how is it January?
2023.
New year, a new year. So I think we're shared out too. So if you are not already in our Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Facebook page, we have a great group where we like to share breaking news, which is always a good place to follow for that, but obviously videos and news and a lot of things we'll talk about tonight as well. So welcome in. If you have comments while we're chatting, we love seeing that and chiming in or asking questions. We love to interact as well. So crazy that this is our, would I be correct, third year we're doing this? I think so.
Yes.
I think in 2020.
Wow.
I know, crazy. So,
yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Right? like I'm already like, how is it the third? Like,
I know.
Right.
Where's the year going? It's just crazy. So happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. That happened too.
Holidays, New Year, and we can tell it's January because we have all been very busy booking trips. Some people booking trips right before we got on as well as new and future clients reaching out to us. That's why we love January. Everyone's thinking about what are we doing for the year.
I think it's because everybody's like, we had this huge cold snap across like the whole country, right? I was at Disney World, for the holidays, and it was cold. Like, I was thankful for my winter coat. I was actually thankful that we were kind of done with park days as like that weather got there, because I kind of have like a cold going on. My youngest had a cold going on, and we just did like a whole bunch of nothing for like that whole weekend, except for like dining at the end of the day. We all kind of like hung out, and that was nice. So it's nice to go there and do nothing sometimes. Like, it's actually a good place to do nothing if that's your thing.
Right. Did anyone watch? I mean, I guess you were there, but did anyone watch any of the live streams going on of the New Year's celebrations in the parks at all?
No. I was working.
I was definitely watching Resort TV when they were in Epcot, and they were at Epcot last year too. And I will tell you that just one of these years, I'm going to Epcot. I mean, they have the best flippin' parties. They have DJs in several of the countries. I mean, and not just DJ. I mean, some of the best of the best, incredible DJs in the countries. And I want to be part of that party. We've
been there a few years at Disney World, a few years, like through the new year. Like we stay till about like the first or the second every so often. And I've been at the Magic Kingdom multiple times, and it is crazy the night before the new year because they kind of do like a test run on it. Like, I think I gave that tip like on my business page. So I'll need to share it over on Wizarding Wands too. So they do like a test run before like New Year's Eve, 4th of July, with everything that they're doing the next night, right? So it's kind of like you're experiencing New Year's Eve like the night before. So that's kind of fun. If you're like, oh, well, I won't be there on New Year's Eve, maybe that's a little too much, right? You can go over the night before because they're doing like a test run. But it is like so fun. Like, we kept getting these same songs stuck in our head, like as we were going on the rides and everything. Like, you'd hear like parts of it here and then like parts of it over there, kind of thing. So it is such a party atmosphere. And I was watching Mickey Vlog actually on New Year's Eve. They were over at Epcot as well. Right. And it is just like this huge party atmosphere. So it is so fun. And I will really say that some there at Christmas a lot, right? Have daughters that are cast members, so it's hard for them to get off even as long as they've been there, or they can get off for a couple days, but not like the whole, like enough time to like come home kind of thing. So the crowds actually weren't that bad for like the Christmas holiday, you know, kind of thing. And it kind of surprised me, like it seemed like about what last year was, which is still nowhere near like kind of the craziness. So it kind of made me think, like, are park reservations helping?
I
Like,
think
with
they
that?
are. I mean, I really do. I'll say it over and over again. The crowded now. I mean, if you're not used to Disney or you're not used to crowds, it is crowded.
Yeah.
It's just there's no comparison. I don't think there's any comparison.
Yeah. I had friends that were there the exact same time, and they actually checked in on Christmas Eve. And so they were at the Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, you know, they were at all of the resorts for for the adults first time in like forever, right? They were teenagers the last time they went. And I kind of prepared them like, hey, just so you know, like it's gonna be really busy, like all that kind of stuff. She's like, this really isn't too bad. And I was like, okay, either I did a really good job of like prepping her for it, or it really wasn't too bad for the average person. But such a fun experience for the holidays to have. Just, well, one, I love the holidays there. Like there's nothing like Disney during the holiday time period. I think we said that on our last one, but I'll say it all the time.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we should mention too, on the 4th, or not on the 4th of July, they do this on the 4th of July too, but on New Year's, for Magic Kingdom, not only do they do the fireworks the day before and the day of, but they do them twice. So they've got the early fireworks for those of us who like to, you know, step out early. I think they were at 6:30, and then they have the later fireworks at midnight. So that's really neat. And then they did Harmonious early too in Epcot, and then had their countdown later on at night. So I don't know, it's really neat to me.
It is. So if you follow our YouTube page, we put a lot of videos up about a lot of the holiday festivities that happen. So if you want to get a taste of that, maybe you didn't make it or you're missing the holidays, that's a great way. And that's always a great resource. One thing, because we kind of launched into chatting about this, and this was big news that we thought we needed to announce as well. And I was looking for a prop of some sort. I struck out. I was looking for like a fake thing. So we're all agents with Mickey Travels, which will be celebrating its 12th year as an agency in just a few days, which is really exciting. And we've all been here with it varying time. And then Let's Adventure Travel. So that is how we help you with Universal and beyond vacations. We're all proud to be agents with this agency. And in the world of Disney, there are, of course, different levels of agencies as well. We're really proud that we've been a platinum agency for so long, but just
years, yeah.
Our owners shared the news. They've known for a while, talk about keeping a secret, that we are now diamond level, which is the highest level. And there's only 5 agencies that receive this distinction. 5. So if you've ever Googled how many Disney vacation planning, there's a lot. I don't know how many. I wouldn't want to guess, but a lot. So very excited. If I had like a confetti thing, I would have made that go. So that's really exciting. We're really proud of that, and to be with an agency that has reached that milestone.
Right. I mean, because thank you to all of you, because it's our clients that, of course, helped us, get there. So huge shout out to everyone that has helped us, whether booking a trip with us or, sharing our posts or sharing our info with your family and friends. Like, thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry that I was like, whoa, did I just sing it like, then you say thank you and you're like, okay.
It's all the booking today. We're just not all thinking straight.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's a huge honor. It's something that doesn't happen. It's not a guarantee that if you are platinum, you remain platinum. If you are diamond, you remain diamond. And so this is something that the agencies and all of the earmarked statuses earn every year. And so it's one of those things where it's sort of a double-edged sword, because you realize, wow, we've accomplished this wonderful thing collectively as an agency, but now we're doing it all over again
Right.
at the start of the year.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, we're incredibly proud of this designation, and and, we get some extra, through our owners, connection with Disney. And there are some things, I feel like I've run into some difficult situations and my clients have been able to reach out to me. I've been able to reach out to our owners have been able to reach out to Disney to get things remedied when, they really weren't able to be remedied in other ways. So I feel like it's not just the fact that we're awesome. And we do a great job, booking and helping people plan. But if something really unorthodox and difficult happens, we also have a little bit extra connection up the chain. And so nothing's instantaneous, but connection up the chain to try to remedy some of those situations too, especially, when we're looking at all of the craziness with this weather and, people having to reschedule, airline issues, you name it. So it's really nice to not only have this honor, but also to have the clout with Disney to be able to have some of that additional outreach and resources available to us as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because we are awesome. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we're lucky to be with a great agent. We were on a call tonight. Really fun, big Zoom call with a lot of people, which is very fun. Just kind of talking about the year that we've had and then the year ahead and planning. And I always get off this call more excited. Again, we're always learning more too and making those connections. That's why you get the three of us with your free vacation planning, but you get a whole resource of people as well. That's a huge bonus as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, and one thing we did sort of mention offhandedly early is that we've been busy booking already. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, this is considered, it's called wave season. This is wave season because this is when everyone is booking their trips for the year. If they haven't all done, if you've done it already, thank you. And kudos to you because you've gotten a little bit more time and, just instantaneous attention, I would say. And at this point in time, if you're working with us, if you're working with another Mickey Travels agent, just please be patient because of the fact that this is when everyone is reaching out. And, I'm pretty quick, but you can only be so quick. And every once in a while, you also have to sleep. And so it really started a couple of days after Christmas and has been fairly nonstop since then. But even this week, starting pretty much, Monday, I've barely been able to keep up, but I know it's going to slow down. So it ebbs and it flows.
Right.
If you are looking to chat with someone over the summer, they're probably going to be able to give you all the time in the world because the summers are really slow season, for travel. And so it's just one of those things where just know if you're working with someone right now, I'm working, on planning a trip, you could be patient. That'd be great because of the fact that everyone's really busy at this time of year. And we want to give you all of the information that we possibly can in a timely manner and the best information that you need. And to do that, it takes time. I cultivate every email I send, all of my, my outreach, I have some templates, but everything is personalized within those templates. And so it takes quite a bit of time to give you the information that is specific to your trip and your family and your group. And so just know that we are as magical as we possibly can be, but things still take time.
Absolutely. And if you're starting to think about 2023, even if you're talking about December, it for sure is not too soon. Like,
right.
Again, like, how do we get to this point? Like, it's January already. So if you're thinking about a trip this year, and you're in, one of us is who handles it for you, so definitely it's never too soon to reach out. Even if you're starting to think about 2024 even.
Well, I've got my 2024 lists already. They've been started for months.
Right.
So something to keep in mind. And just know, if you're looking at spring, availability is limited, but I was working with someone looking at some very specific dates, wanting some very specific lodging for October in the villas. And we got the last 2-bedroom villa available for those dates with what they wanted. After that, they were gone, and that's first weekend in October. And so just know fall is an incredibly busy time to travel. That's something to, really be thinking about right now. If you wait until the summer, well, and especially if you're looking at first week in November, that's, an incredibly busy week as well because of the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, which we'll talk a little bit more about. That availability goes fast. And so now is the time to book, and really, prior to March is the time to book some of those early November trips.
Yeah. And so Disney and Universal are booking through 2023. So the entire year, if you're thinking about that, again, we can check that. And then cruises are open a little bit further than that. But I know, especially if I've been getting a lot of clients, and I think we all see this too, who I want to take a trip this year, but I don't know when. So that just takes more time. The kind of what I always say, we start with the funnel and work it down.
Right.
But that does take a little more time, or if you're just not sure, we completely understand. I had 3 clients today, and I always say this is my norm. Clients who maybe went to Disney or Universal when they were in high school, and now they're taking their kids. So it's maybe back 2 decades.
Right.
So again, a lot more to learn, but that's why we're here to send lots of information. Again, all of our services are free. Our resources are out there. That's why we have this YouTube channel. That's why we have our Facebook group. We'd love to help you with anything you're thinking about. Because again, we really want you to enjoy that trip, whether it's your first or you haven't been in a very long time. So it's kind of like your first again, really. So many things have changed.
Yeah. So I think it's harder. Personally, I think it's harder to go back if you already have a frame of reference, because everything is different.
Right. You just don't quite remember
to unlearn some of that stuff, and then
well, and I think also like so much has changed, right? With COVID and all of that, let alone like so many new things have come online, or different things. And so it really is for Disney World, a different world, right, than it was a few years ago, even. So for sure, as part of what we do is just make everything easier, like whether you're talking about Disney or Universal, or beyond, right, as we say. And we're just here to make it easier for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I guess I did mention briefly Run Disney. And the reason why that's important right now is that they just released their 2023-24 schedule of races. I have it posted in our Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Facebook group. But if you are interested in Run Disney, the important thing to know is these races sell out pretty much the day they go on sale to the public. So if you are interested in running one of these races, you need to be prepared to register and pay for your registration that day. And then you'll want to, I think it's important to book your lodging if you're sure that you're going to do this ahead of time, because everything with, Disney is refundable. And so if you book your room and ticket package and for some reason you don't get in and you don't want to go that weekend, you can shift your dates, you can get a refund, for your $200 deposit. But getting that out there, getting everything squared away for where you want to stay for these races is important, because after the races sell out, that's when everyone is booking. And a lot of times I ran into this myself. I couldn't get what I wanted. And I started looking at lodging maybe the day after I registered, and I still never got the resort that I was looking for. And I look at this stuff every day. I'm literally in the system every day, and my dates never opened up for the resort I wanted for that weekend. Just didn't happen. So, and that was for Wine and Dine this past year. And then the other big thing to know is that the Disneyland races are back. I think the last Disneyland Run Disney weekend was November 2017. So it has been a long time. If you are looking to run a Disneyland race, just know that the competition is going to be really stiff for that registration for that weekend. And so hop on, do the best you can. But it looks like that weekend is going to start registering. General registration is on Valentine's Day. So February 14th is when the Disneyland race weekend is going to be January 11th through the 14th, 2024.
Wow, so think about that. So that's 11 months in advance. I hadn't looked at like I looked at the run dates, but I didn't look at the registration dates.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're doing that because of the fact that they want to give priority to people who've already planned this. They know they want it. That's significantly further in advance than the rest of the races. Most of them are March and November. So 8 months.
Have you done that one?
Have I done which one?
Disneyland.
I did the they had the I did the Pixie Dust Challenge, which was a May race.
Yeah.
And so it always used to be over right around Mother's Day weekend. And so I did the Pixie Dust Challenge several years ago. That was 15. So
that's right.
Yeah, we were supposed to do it in 18, the last year that we ran Princess. And so I knew as soon as you said November of 2017, I was like, yep, because we were going to do it in 2018. So I could get my coast to coast.
Yeah. So that's so soon to plan ahead. But I mean, if you're going to want to be part of that race weekend, you have to. The tough thing about Run Disney races though, is they're completely non-refundable. So you are putting a ton of money out there knowing that you're going to run these races. On the flip side, for me, I find that is all the incentive I need to work, to really do the training, because I know some people can show up to a half marathon and finish it without training. Good for them. That's not me. Like, it takes me a long time to get there. So I mean, that you invest quite a bit in it, but then, you pretty much know you're going to do the training. There's no way you're going to show up to these races without being prepared for them. But take a look at that calendar. Again, it's on the Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Facebook group. It's out there. So if you're interested in what the calendar is going to look like from, it starts with Wine and Dine, which is November 2023, and then it goes through the Springtime Surprise Weekend, which is April 2024. So you'll know what all those races are and when the registration dates are for them as well.
And shout out to anybody that is running this coming weekend. It is marathon weekend at Walt Disney World, and it is the 30th anniversary of the marathon, which is, absolutely crazy. And I know I have a couple clients that are running, so good luck to them if they are on. What an exciting time, like 30 years of something, let alone like marathon weekend is the only one that is 5K, the 10K, the half, and the full. And those people are just crazy. They call it dopey.
The goofy, but the dopey is enough.
Yeah.
There's dopey, there's goofy.
Yeah. Either one. There's a reason they picked those characters. So good luck to them. 30th anniversary of that one. Very exciting. Yeah. Looks like the weather's
It's the only full marathon. So this weekend is the only full marathon of any of the Run Disney locations. The rest of them have a 5K, a 10K, and a half. But this is 5K, 10K, half, and full. And some people run all of it. The neat thing about with it being the 30th anniversary, they're doing their whole merch, the medals, everything is throwback to 30 years ago, or maybe longer, as far as, what the decor looks like, because it looks retro, 80-ish to me, but when I do the math, 30 years ago wasn't the 80s.
Yeah, somebody messed up there.
It feels like it should be the 70s, doesn't it?
But yeah, that definitely would put you into the 90s. Yeah. Oh well. But it's definitely very 80s looking. Like the medals are super cool. I personally run for bling, like that's the reason, like that, and so I can eat more snacks. Like that's my whole reason for running. And those medals are always amazing, and they are again. So fun.
It's fun.
Fun as that's
a great bucket. It's a great bucket list item. Yeah.
So cool.
But it was just kind of a big day. It's so busy with talking to people and with all of, the trips that people are planning, and then to get the Run Disney information and think, I need to reach out to everybody who is thinking about Wine and Dine so they know when the registration opens so they can start thinking about what they want to do already, but it's the time. Yeah. So
it's a Tuesday. Of course, there was big news. Yeah.
I've been off on what day is it like all week?
I'm struggling.
It was Monday, and then yesterday was Monday, and I'm like, what day is it? And then my son went back to school today. My husband went back to work today. My other son went back to work today. Like, I'm like, it's Monday? Like, what day is it?
It's Tuesday. I know.
Yeah. So I'm a little
I got a huge snowstorm today. So there's,
Yuck.
Can't keep up. It's winter. But I mean, if you are looking for one of those last minute winter trips, get it booked now. I mean, their availability is diminishing. I know that lots of us want to escape winter. There are a few handful of cruises still available. Cruises are wonderful because there's so little planning that you have to do to have a wonderful cruise, but you have to get on. So,
Right.
so reach out, get that book now so that you're prepared for everything that you need to be able to sail.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about, no, go ahead.
I think we said on our last one, we were just getting ready to open spring of 24, I think on our last call. So it is open now. You can book your Disney cruises through spring of 2024.
Right.
I'm having a hard time with the fact that it's 2023. So
right.
I'm talking about 2024. And right now Disney has 50% off your deposit. Normally, my brain just totally shut off as I went to say numbers.
Yeah, the deposit's normally 20%.
20%, thank you.
And so the deposits now are 10% for, and I can't remember exactly what the window of time is for those, but it doesn't mean that you're paying 10% less. It just means that you're putting out 10% less, because 20% can be a fairly significant chunk of change. So a 10% deposit, if you are looking to book that far out, it gives you more time to pay on your trip.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I think it's, I had just looked earlier today. It's the only reason I can do it off the top of my head. So I believe February 17th through February 17th, they have the 50% off.
Right.
Great. Yeah.
Deposit.
And we talk about flying every so often, and we know that a lot of people had trouble, obviously, recently. And I'm a huge proponent of Southwest, and so we feel for anyone who had issues during the time. We do not book flights. That is something you do separately, but we help you kind of put it together with the flight and where you're going, whether that's a cruise or a destination or things like that. But there are some good deals out there on flights. I'm heading to Florida, not Disney, and some other places in January. And if you're flexible, there are some good rates out there, and depending where you're coming from. But I do think, especially weather-wise, and this is hopefully a good lesson for people either cruising or other things, is to make sure you have enough time built in, especially if you're even just going for a short trip. If you're only going a couple of days to Universal or something like that, just want to make sure that you're allowing enough time. I think we're just seeing that with staffing and airports and weather. And obviously that was truly a perfect storm. What happened with how many people got delayed, but it can just obviously add a lot of stress. So whatever you can do to be thinking ahead, just work that into your travel plans.
Yeah. I think it also convinced so many people that normally don't to add trip insurance.
I agree. Yeah.
Great point.
And I tell my clients, like, in this day and age, like, it is just security, right? That's what it's supposed to be to begin with. But talk about a perfect example of what can happen, you know, especially like even here, like it was below freezing, you know, here outside of Houston. We don't usually have weather like that. And it was like that for like 9 days or something like that. So, you know, that can easily mess up travel, because it's not like we have de-icing and stuff like that. Like, obviously Jen does where she lives.
Plenty of it, or else I wouldn't get anywhere.
Yeah. No, but that's a really good point about trip protection. It exists to help you. Absolutely.
Well, and I think one thing that a lot of people, as I was reading through all of these comments and chats, and people who were stranded don't realize, is that most travel insurance companies have an emergency, you know, assistance phone number. So if something happens, make sure you have that phone number and call the insurance company right away, because they might be able to get you a hotel for the night, a rental car, you know, something along those lines. By virtue of just having that travel protection. And a lot of travel protection companies will also front you the funds, because another thing that I've seen in other places is that people were running out of money because they expect that we have this issue, we pay for it, and then we submit a claim to the travel insurance company. That's not the case for all travel insurance companies. Sometimes some of them will front you the funds, and then, you know, have you, of course, you still have to submit the claim and prove that, you know, that really did happen.
Yeah.
But something to know is, you know, have that 800 number for your travel insurance company handy with all the rest of your travel information, because you may need to give them a call. And the other thing, when you're in an airline, and I know that this isn't ideal all of the time, but make sure you have the app for all of the, you know, the airline companies that have apps, and not all of them do. But I know when we were flying Southwest a couple of years ago, and we used to fly Southwest all the time. They just don't have direct flights, or else we would, fly them a whole lot more. But when our flight was delayed, I hopped right on the app as we were in, the rental car driving to the airport and rescheduled. I mean, I got the notification that the flight was, canceled. And then, I was able to hop right in, reschedule. Even if it wasn't ideal, I rescheduled for something. So I got the next available time. And then I knew, okay, worst case scenario, this is when we're going. But if I had waited to get to the airport and waited in line, even what we had scheduled wouldn't have been available. So
yeah, I mean, we came across the same as we flew home. My husband and I in August. We were flying Delta, and our flight home got delayed, and it was only supposed to be delayed like an hour-ish, right? And I was like, I'm gonna just look, right? Because I know this isn't the only other flight, going out tonight, kind of thing. And it wasn't. We actually were able to switch it to a flight that was getting ready to board. And so I was all like, oh, like, let's go, So instead of waiting around for an additional hour, we were there already. It was just the two of us. We didn't have like any kids that needed to be fed or anything. I mean, I would have liked to have been fed, but I'd rather get home, So we were able to just change it in the app. I didn't even have to go talk to a gate agent or anything. And it's like, done. Here's our boarding passes. Let's go, So that's great advice for sure.
Right. And we have our Amazon store that, again, we have that as a suggestion of things that would be helpful in travel. And this is also another lesson, have those portable chargers, have multiple.
yes.
If you're all trapped at the airport, as we know, especially these older airports, I feel like Orlando's one of them too. There's only so many outlets.
That's
there aren't
so true.
outlets made
So
for a zillion
true.
people. So at least
Absolutely.
if you have that. And then the other thing, I was just talking to someone the other night about it. We have pre-check. I have TSA pre-check, and to me, that is such a great investment as
really
well.
Is.
I think it's worth it even if you would fly once a year, but I mean, if it's more than that, I believe it's $85 still
for 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
It's $85 for 4 years, and a lot of credit card companies reimburse, once every 4 years for it. So we've got 2 different credit cards that reimburse for it every 4 years. So mine's free, my husband's free, and we just pay for our kids to have it.
Yeah, and I think it's 13 and under. They
Right.
can go with you. So that's the nice thing. So you don't have to worry about that. But I mean, especially in Orlando, but anywhere that saves you time as well.
It's gold. It has
saved us so many times.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just something to think about.
Absolutely.
One more flight related thing to keep in mind too is if you are flexible, pay attention to the announcements at the gate, because I was just talking to a friend of mine who was traveling with her family, and I believe they were flying Delta, and there was an announcement that, if you were able to get on the next flight or even the next day, they would have some compensation for you. And I'm almost positive that it ended up being $1,200 per person.
Stop it.
Bumped, in flight credit, $1,200 in flight credit.
Yeah.
They gave them meal vouchers. They gave them food vouchers, or I mean, hotel voucher for the night. They went out the next day. They had $1,200 each to spend on flights.
I will always give up my seat.
Right.
I will always.
Seriously.
I mean, it's not good it doesn't work for everyone, but
It doesn't work for everyone when I
Right,
can.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've only ever been offered it on the way to vacation, and I'm like, yeah, no. Like,
Oh, I do it then too.
Yeah, no, I will not. But my husband travels for work a ton.
Yeah.
Like, anytime he's coming home lately, especially, he's like, hey, just so you know, like, they're offering. I'm all like, take it. He's like, I'm coming home. I'm like, what is that? Right? I'm like, can you just stay home?
Yeah.
Like, we got flights to book.
But you never know what it can be. So, I mean, if they're
Yeah.
offering it, doesn't hurt to go up to the, counter and say, well, what are you offering?
Right. It doesn't
If
commit
they say
you.
you're like not worth it, then it's not worth
Yeah.
it. But
Right.
at
He
least
said on his last one that they were taking bids.
Yes, they do that
I could
now.
walk up there and say, hey, my
Yeah.
bid is like whatever.
Yes.
I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that. Like, wait till you offer me an amount. I'm not going to go up there and go, okay, so $300 when you would have paid $1,200 or like
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like, no way. I'm not
Have you
bidding.
seen that ever when you're checking in and it will say like we may be looking for volunteers, and you put in like a check-in and you put in the amount, how much you would.
wow.
I've gotten that a
never
few
seen
times.
Oh,
1,200 is the most I've ever gotten, and I thought I was like the only one who held that record. So
oh wow,
that served me
pretty
well
cool,
for 2 years.
Yes.
yeah. Heck yeah. I might rethink it. Wait, will the rest of my family fly home, like fly away, and I'll like take the 1,200 and just stay? Plus like a hotel to myself. Like, don't
I've
tell them
split
that
our family up
conversation.
before. I've been like, okay, you guys go.
You guys go.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If it's
Terrible.
worth that, I mean, if it's just worth,
Yeah.
or you get it. I think I got it, and then I flew out again like an hour later. Like, what's
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
not a big deal. So
But
again,
I've taken it when instead of having direct flight, I would have a connection
right.
somewhere. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll have a connection. I'll get there, an hour later. No problem.
Yeah.
As long as you get me there. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is
Right.
very true. That is one thing to think about it. I know that is for some people. I think our one was we split and flew into another airport, and they took a cab. This wasn't me. I was with the kid. Took a cab from Cincinnati to Columbus. The airline paid for that. That's how good.
Oh,
Right?
Well, hey, the airline's paying, no problem. That's not too
It's
far.
not that long. I mean, and then you're just sitting there, you do whatever. But I don't know if they do that as often. But right now, they've got to, they've got to fill those flights are full, so there's a greater chance, and they've got to get some people to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some little tidbits for you. Yeah,
absolutely. Travel extraordinaire. Well, I suppose we only have a few minutes left. We should talk a little bit about Disney. What's happening this year? But I feel like the next big one, we mentioned this briefly the last time, is the 100th celebration, which is starting at Disneyland in just a few weeks. I should know exactly how many days this is because I'm going to be there then.
I was going to say.
I'm impressed that we've taken this long until we've asked you what your count time is.
I don't even know. Let me look. Because I'll get there 2 days beforehand.
Except you're going to Disney World first, right?
I'm going to Disney World first for a couple of days, and then I'm flying from Disney World to Disneyland. And I wanted to go and get, I'm going to Disneyland before my family because I want to go and get some content and do, I love traveling with my family, but there's some distractions there. So I want to make sure that I have just a lot of information, a lot that I can share on YouTube and not have, the same, pull with that. But I'm at 22 days before heading to Disneyland. I get there on the 25th. The celebration starts on the 27th. So in 24 days is the start of the Walt Disney Company's 100th celebration. So
wow, that's so awesome. And there's already, I have to talk on the merch here a sec. There's already merchandise dropping. Some of it's been on Shop Disney at Disneyland. Some of it's been at Disney World too. So of course I had to get myself a new lounge fly and some matching ears to go with it. Because the colors and I had to keep myself from buying the jacket because it was so fabulous. Like all the characters on the back, like it's like the Fab Five, I think, that's on the back of it. And I just love all the colors and all of it. So I was of course hooked and had to, and the ears are like a lavender color. I should have worn them actually.
I was going to say, did you put a picture? I know you put a picture on your own page. Did you put it in the group yet?
You know what? I posted, sorry guys, I posted so few things in the group when started not feeling well that then I did just do a photo dump on my personal page. So if I have not, I will, because the ears are fabulous. They're very
so cute,
blingy and textured, and then the lounge fly looks like it's kind of melting, like the platinum's kind of melting on the black, or the black's melting on the platinum. I don't know, one or the other. And I thought it was really cool. They actually had matching ears with the platinum melting, but I wasn't gonna spend that kind of money. But the blingy ones were super cool, and they have right here an icon that says 100 on it. So I just thought they were so
they're pretty.
I love all things blingy and purple, so it covered both of those. Actually, my favorite things I always say are anything blingy, purple, and Disney. So it covered all three. I had to have them. So
I know.
100th anniversary is coming, and with that, the end of the 50th celebration at Walt Disney World, the end of March. Actually, they've said officially, March 31st. So if you're wanting to go, you're quickly running out of time.
Right, right. And with the 100th anniversary, there is a new fireworks show coming to Disneyland, and then World of Color, which is the show more like a water projection show at Disney's California Adventure Park. Has a new, it'll be World of Color 1, so it's the World of Color, but it's a completely different show there as well. But Enchantment, as far as we understand, is the fireworks show at Magic Kingdom that is expected to end on March 31st. And then, we'll see what is new after that. But other big Disney World news, I don't think we mentioned this, is that the princesses are returning to Cinderella's royal table.
You're so right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I cannot tell you how many people have been wanting that for years, literally now. And so February 28th, the princesses are returning to Cinderella's royal table. I mean,
I love
the same without them.
Thing is to come back, right?
I know.
Is just like so fantastic. We're down to so few things that have not returned since COVID shut down. Most of them are princessy related, it's just so to see another one, come back. It's just so fantastic. And there's nothing better than the characters, period. Like, all the cast, obviously they are the magic. Like I love that tagline. Like I 100% believe that, but those characters, like just seeing my kids, the youngest to the oldest, like interact with them is just so fun. I'm greatly looking forward to taking our grandbaby for the first time at Christmas this year. Yes, I'm already planning. Yes, we have dates booked. Yeah, like I'm ready. I wouldn't take him this year, but
it's so exciting. I was helping a family book dining, and they're going that day, and they're just so thrilled to see princesses at Cinderella's royal table. And overall for dining, I don't know. I'm hoping that I feel like I might need to knock on wood when I say this, but I feel like availability is improving. So I think they're increasing capacity at the restaurants. I've had better luck with larger parties, which like parties of 6 and 7 and 8 have been really tough to book since returning from the pandemic, and I'm seeing more availability for parties those sizes. So I'm really hoping that we are turning a corner.
I will say that when we were there, just there, and I didn't notice it as much when we were all there in November. Maybe it was just because I didn't notice it, but it did seem like the more popular restaurants at least were way more at capacity than not capacity, kind of thing. So, and I think so too. It has been easier, still if you're wanting those, super popular ones, like somebody needs to be on it, right at 60 days, because
Le Cellier or California Grill. I mean, lots of them will book up really far in advance. Topolino's. That one's still hard to get. Right? That one I think has been a capacity for a while.
The last day, I'm like, good, because that might be the only chance that you can.
Right. Yeah. No, so, and I feel like you're right. When we've been to restaurants in the past couple of years, they've been sold out. So we've, had a hard time getting reservations. There aren't reservations available, but there are lots of tables that were open. And I don't feel like that, I feel like that's been diminishing. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Experience, exciting
I love everything returning to normal.
I know. Whatever normal is, but normal for us. Sure. Yeah. But I don't know. Any other big news or pieces?
I think that's what we've got for today.
Yeah. I think one other pay attention. If you are traveling, I will say this time and time again, work with a travel planner, especially with renovations that are coming up at different resorts, and all of that can impact your trip. And again, I've been reading things with different folks who are at, for example, Paradise Pier Hotel right now at Disneyland is undergoing a significant renovation. Restaurants are closed, pools closed. It's just kind of a tough thing to walk into a hotel where you're spending a significant chunk of change and not expecting all of these things to be closed. That's something that we can keep an eye on. That's something that we let you know about. So if you are, booked for a hotel, they, and they mentioned that there's a major renovation that's going to impact you, we'll let you know. If it's, every place has some renovation or work being done or something closed, from time to time. That's a little bit different than we're closing every restaurant because we're completely retheming the whole thing, or we're building a whole new resort right next door. And so your view isn't going to be great. Things like that. We're there to let you know what that looks like.
Even like, pools being refurbished, right? Like we let you know that, because if you're planning, your non-park days to be in the pool and the one closest to you is closed and you have to truck over to the other one, you weren't quite prepared for all that.
Right.
That like, those are just the kind of things that we let you know in advance. Hey, like this is going on, so that's why we're so fabulous.
Oh God, why we're diamond fabulous. Level. Yeah.
But there, a lot of exciting things happening this year, a lot coming. But I think all of us are probably a little bit exhausted because of the fact that it has been nonstop, as far as questions and, all that good stuff. Not to mention everyone who's traveling right now has questions and, they're wanting to meet to talk a little bit about some last minute expectations and all of that. And so I don't know about you, I'm totally drained.
Yeah. I think it's almost bedtime for all of us.
It's exciting at the same time.
It is. It's a good tired.
Yeah, it's a good tired. Right. So,
but
lots of exciting things on the horizon. It's going to be a great year. I'm so looking forward to everything that 2023 will bring. I can't wait to see what'll happen through the rest of the 100th celebration with the Walt Disney Company. I have to believe that it's not only going to live at Disneyland, and that it'll eventually, move around to the other parks and maybe cruise line, other things like that. Disneyland Paris is going to be wrapping up their 30th celebration. So I'm getting in on the tail end of that because it started in April and it'll end in April. So I'll still be able to share a little bit of that Disneyland Paris 30th anniversary celebration goodness with you. And
so just before we got on our agency call to speak about Disneyland for a second, for New Year's Eve at Disneyland, they did wishes. So for those of you that have been Disney lovers for a long time at Walt Disney World, Wishes is what the fireworks show was. Okay, so right now it's Enchantment. Before it was Happily Ever After. Before that it was Wishes. And I feel like I raised my older kids like on Wishes. Like you start that music and I'm like already crying. So they did their fireworks show to Wishes. So I'm like, wait, is this sticking around? Because if so, like, I'm booking a flight to Paris. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So,
right. Yeah. And you just never know is the thing. So,
right. So super exciting. And we're excited to follow along with Jen as she goes in April.
I can't wait. I've got plans. I just ordered a new gimbal because my gimbal the one for my iPhone sadly died a sad death. I apologize for some of my most recent live streams with that gimbal because it just pooped out on me completely. So I'm investing in a new one. So we will have better and hopefully more live streams.
We for sure appreciate all the hard work that Jen does with the videos. She's been tossing ones out every Friday for the last few weeks. So if you have not got a chance to check them out, like I think Catherine said earlier, some of the Christmas party, the fireworks and the parade Jen got when we were all there in November, like check those out. Like they just make you happy. Like the Christmas parade just makes me smile.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I know. I don't know. I put that on loop and just kept watching it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Just love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think we are going to wrap up for today. If you have questions for us at all, please feel free to comment on this video, to pop into our Wizarding Wands and Make It Yours Facebook group. If you want to share exciting news about your travels or things that you found, the Facebook group is a place to share. It's really wonderful. And, we love to interact with you there. I know we do a lot of posting out, but I love it when there are questions that come up or people who share pictures or experiences or everything with everyone else too. So please share in that space. But keep an eye on things. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel. I've got videos scheduled up through February already. And of course, I'll be collecting quite a bit at Disneyland. I've got a cruise in December with Disneyland Paris. So there will be a lot of videos coming. We tend to try to post something every Friday for you, but then also live streams throughout. And so if I find a moment where I can live stream, the time is perfect, I'll just go ahead and live stream, but you won't really know about it unless you have the notification set. So definitely subscribe, but hit the notification button, because then you'll just get a pop-up that I'm live. And if you're available, you can, take a look at that there, or you can always watch it later. So those videos stay live as well. And hey, Craig, how are you?
It's time. Yep.
That's Christy's husband popping in. But yeah, pay attention to those things, because they are all there, and they will continue to be there. And into the new year, my goal is to do as much live streaming and post as many videos as we possibly can of all of the new fun stuff coming around the corner. And if you have things that you're specifically looking for, let us know. Send us an email, comment on, any of these videos. Again, comment on the Facebook page, because that's the only way we know what you're looking for, and, what are some things that we can, try to experience and show you. So let us know what you're looking for too. That's very helpful to know. Any parting thoughts?
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
We started that.
Lots to come this year. We're excited.
Yeah,
Cheers
absolutely.
to a wonderful 2023.
Sure.
But the 1980s was still only 20 years ago.
That was in my best suit, but it's a little off.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for joining us today. Again, hit the subscribe, the like button, and we will be back as much as we possibly can. We're going to try to go live at least every couple of weeks. That of course will be different when we're traveling and stuff like that, but keep an eye on our Facebook group and on YouTube,